goddamn military.
The
And
Pentagon,
I'm fucking livid. We are stuck in the timeline where Alex Jones is right. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight on YouTube and Facebook. It has been a great win for libertarians in New Hampshire. We've been celebrating the end of LP drama. So now it's time to turn our focus on what really matters, building community through freedom and action. I'm joined tonight with AJ Olding from an undisclosed location in Manchester, New Hampshire. AJ, how's it going?
It's still undisclosed?
Well, you're about to disclose it. This is the coming out party.
Oh, like, are we giving the address or no?
No.
I'm just walking around upstairs.
All right, AJ, tell everyone where you're at tonight.
All right, so I am at the Quill right now. We're sitting around in our main lobby. I've got Steve here, Ken's here, Derek is here as well. And we were all just kind of screwing around tonight when Justin sent out a text and said, hey, do you want to jump on a live stream and save the Quill? And I'm like, I'm here right now. We can show people the building. So that's the plan, I guess.
That's the thing. So we're saving the Quill. Everybody, if you look in the description of the video on YouTube and on Facebook, you're going to see links to Save the Quill and Emergent Order. And I'm going to get those up on the screen for you right now. EmergentOrder.io is a new nonprofit in New Hampshire working to fundraise to help save and expand the Quill and build a new network of community centers in New Hampshire and around the country. AJ, tell us, why does the Quill need saving? What's going on right now with the Quill?
Why does the Quill need saving? So the Quill is, so the Quill's a building that's been operating for about 10 years. It's the home of the Fraternal Order of the Porcupine, which is a fraternal order for libertarians and liberty-minded people. Our building is getting sold, and the owner of the building wants to give us first crack at it before going to open market. And we've said, yes, we would like to own our building so that we can control our own future. And we've sort of realized that, this building brings in income because there's other units in it. And if we own it and we're bringing in income and we're putting it back into the fraternal order, then now we have the ability to try to expand as well, which you've touched on in a couple other videos, I think.
Right. And that's what
we're doing.
Because my big push, my love of this project is the idea that we're going to expand. That this isn't about Manchester, New Hampshire anymore. This is about the greater liberty movement. Because what we've been doing in Manchester for the past 10 years is something we want to bring to other libertarians all across New Hampshire and all across the country to give the opportunity to be a part of. Filling people, like, what's the typical day-to-day at the Quill? What does it provide for the community?
Well, oh my gosh, it provides so many things. So, I mean, it's used as a community center for all kinds of different purposes. We have movie nights here every Thursday where, different people will pick a movie and we'll show it. We're not doing one tonight because Porkfest is coming up. We do market days here every once a month. We do new movers parties for the Free State Project once a month. And we're not a Free State affiliate organization, but since we're libertarian and they're libertarian, we help them out in that way. And so that's what the public facing side is used for. That's what the upstairs clubhouse is used for. But like, even on a typical night, there's typically going to be people around here. We have a really nice library. We have a really nice projector to show things. I know I like to come here to watch different sports that I'm into.
Some people use it as a co-working space in the daytime.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Steve made a good point. It's been. We have an office over there in the back that sometimes people who work remote, particularly in this time of COVID, it's been really nice. Will work out of there during the day, and it's I don't know. It's used for everything. It's a
I've used it as a
space.
co-working space even before COVID.
Right.
With a lot of my work is done from home or done remotely, and there's been times where it's just like mind-numbing to just sit in my office and work with no noise, nobody else around. And I've shown up to the Quill at like noon to try and get back on track for the day, and there'll be 2-3 other people doing work in different types of work around the Quill, because it's there, and I find it easier to work with people in the setting, and other people do too, and it's super comfortable, super awesome to have those amenities for the community.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I mean, the other thing that it is also great is that this is used as an activist center as well. Every single time, literally every single time Trump came to New Hampshire, we were here the night before or the day of, painting up signs that said "Free Ross Ulbricht," and we're about a mile walk, about a 20-minute, we're about a mile, 20-minute walk to SNHU Arena, where all of those things happen.
Hey, why don't you
walk around outside?
Why don't you show everybody the office, the activist space, all the signs that we
got
made up?
So yeah, so this is like the main hall when you come in. That's the main entrance when you come in. This is sort of what you're immediately greeted to. And if you just walk straight in front of you, we end up into we've called it the office on this stream, but it's also sort of been repurposed as a game room recently. You know, this cords are not well kept right now, but I promise
we got kids that use them. It's hard to maintain proper cable management when the community kids take advantage of it.
Right, and that's one of the great things is like there's kids here constantly, right? Like it didn't used to be that way, and then the people who started this sort of grew up and had kids, and so now it has become very much like a family-friendly center. And while
AJ's getting situated with the signage and the activist materials, I just want to fill you guys in a little bit more. The building's for sale. The asking price is $600,000, as AJ said. We are fundraising towards that $600,000 so we can purchase the building for the community, and to have it as a permanent entity. And we've got momentum going. We're in the six figures. We're already up to $136,000. Every little bit helps. It's not just big ticket donations. Sure, we've got a bunch of big ticket donations, but it's also a bunch of $5 and $10 and $20 donations that are really helping us get there. So if you can't afford $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $20,000, but $5 helps us more than you think it would, because it helps us get that momentum, it helps us get going, and helps us push this message further out. So if you can chip in today, again, right on the banner, GoFundMe.com/F/Save the Quill to chip in there. Now, AJ.
Yeah, and if everybody watching this, like literally right now, can just go share this link on Twitter and Facebook, get as many people watching this, that would be insane for us right now.
Right. Exposure is the biggest thing here, because we really want to get out to people that this is not a New Hampshire Liberty Movement thing anymore. We are really trying to go above and beyond and make this a nationally important aspect of the Liberty community, because culture is upstream from politics.
Honestly, let's go to Mexico
eventually.
City.
Let's go to Lieberland.
Let's go to Lieberland, right? Like, let's fight back the Croatian government and tell them to get off our land. I mean, I'm not.
Now, we did have a question that came in earlier. Sarah Nicholas, has the social media been given back to the duly elected caucus? Yes, the New Hampshire social media platforms for the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire have been returned to the duly elected executive committee. The Liberty Movement is back on track. This was a huge win for the Libertarian Unity Movement, started by Reed Coverdale. A lot of Mises Caucus folks, Pragmatist Caucus folks, Radical Caucus folks came together and really showed that libertarians cared about corruption, and that was something we were going to combat. And I'm kind of celebrating. This is a big win for us. We want to take advantage of the big win and the unity we have going, in order to show what we're doing on the ground, because on the ground in your community, your local activities, that is where you make liberty win. in the state house and Congress, you can have an impact, but in your community, you can change people's lives. And that's what we want to do. The Quill, the Fraternal Order of Porcupines, has been a central institution to the liberty movement in New Hampshire for 10 plus years. And there's a lot of people who wouldn't be in the Free State Project or the liberty movement in New Hampshire if it weren't for the Quill. AJ, why don't you tell everybody about your first time at the Quill?
So my first time at the Quill, it was weird, right? I came to New England not exactly on a whim. It was sort of just like this last minute thing. Work kind of moved stuff around, and it eventually turned out where they're like, well, we have work for you in New England, or we can let you go. And I was like, I've never been to New England before. That sounds fine to me. And they asked me, when can you get here? They asked on a Thursday, and I was dumb enough to say on Monday if you need me. So I packed up my car. So yeah, I packed up all my stuff in my car in Detroit, drove to Cincinnati, grabbed more things from my parents' place, drove to Cleveland, grabbed things out of a storage locker, and then drove to Waltham, Massachusetts, and found a hotel for the night. And for the next 2 months, I lived out of an Airbnb in Billerica, Massachusetts. This is a little town in northern Mass. And at some point in time during that time frame, we come to September 21st, 2017. Adam Kokesh is doing one of his book tours around the country, and he had listed this address, 131 Amory Street in Manchester, New Hampshire, as where his next tour was going to be. And I'm like, well, that's only 45 minutes north of me. I'll go check that out. And I walk inside, and I saw everything that you guys saw here today. And we're trying to become more public facing. At the time, 4 years ago, when I walked in here, it took me a while to figure out that I was at the right spot. It's not marked on the outside. We have kept an intentionally low profile before now, but I walk inside and I meet other libertarians, and I see this amazing library, and at a certain point in time, Adam's lecture, or at a certain point in time, I literally started crying. We get to this point where I had never been to a place that was for people like us before. And I don't know that people who are watching this around the country know quite how powerful it is to have that. And I understand that there are other libertarian clubs in different parts of the country. I understand down in Atlanta, there's the Bitcoin Embassy. But down over in Arizona, Adam Kokesh has got his compound.
The Freedom Garden.
And I think the Freedom Garden. Places like that are not common enough, and we need to make them more common, not just so that we have places to go, but so that we are a larger part of every community in the country, every single one. And it's not just, the Libertarian Party wants to push some politics. It's no, the people at the Fraternal Order of the Porcupine, whatever the building is called, where your local chapter is going to be, are out cleaning up the streets today, or out having a barbecue, and they've invited the neighborhood over, whatever it is. And then we just tell them about our ideas,
and that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's not about the politics at the outset. It's about the community. It's about the culture. It's about bringing people together in a way that creates a valuable sense of community, that when you do go run for office, you have those relationships built. People know who you are, and they've engaged with you on your level and understand the values that you instill because of your community. And then you have a support base for when you do run for office and you do get engaged politically.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the... So libertarianism is not a political philosophy. Libertarianism is specifically apolitical, and the political party does make sense in what our goals are, but it doesn't make a ton of sense from a recruiting perspective, because you're trying to recruit apolitical people to engage in politics, and it's very difficult. So let's recruit these apolitical people to do very apolitical things. Like this. You want me to keep walking around the building? Show more?
Yeah. So,
or you want to keep talking?
Yeah. So, before AJ goes to the next room, I want to just harp on what he was talking about. It's the apolitical stuff. It's the community stuff, the getting the people together stuff. The past year has been a political nightmare. But inside that political nightmare, where governments were forcing people to stay in their homes, and governments were shutting down schools and businesses and telling communities they weren't allowed to engage with each other, the Quill stayed open. The Quill was open 24 hours a day to provide a place for the community to be with each other. And the next room AJ is going to show you is one of our multi-purpose rooms. It's not, I'm going to bet it's not set up the way it is right now for what I'm going to describe, but throughout last summer and last year, when the government was telling people we couldn't be together, we couldn't engage with our community, we all got together and we had potluck dinners with 60, 70 people at a time every week, where we fed the community and people got together. AJ, show them the library, show them the projector room, and like,
all right. So we've put on a David Freeman lecture from Porkfest 10 to sort of show off the projector capabilities here. This is one of the most incredible libraries that exists. We've got everything from and Derek says that the projector is great for Call of Duty. I've never played Call of Duty on it. I have played Mario Kart. I can tell you that it's good for that. Let me actually pause this real quick and turn the lights on in here, and I can show you guys a little bit more of like what our shelves look like.
And this library is an organic resource. It wasn't anything that was planned over the years. Like, we're going to have a library. We had the shelves, and as people in the community over the course of the past 10 years would finish reading what they were reading, they would leave it for others to do so. We've created this resource, and it's not strictly limited to it ranges from the Hunger Games to Bill Clinton's autobiography to political theses by all sorts of libertarian scholars and economists, to reference books for academic pursuits and programming languages for people to better themselves and learn with as well. And this is a resource available to everyone in the community to come and grab at any time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, hey, I mean, I put at least 50 books up on those shelves.
I think we've got the graphic Walking Dead novels around here somewhere as well.
Bottom shelf, I think, somewhere. But yeah, it's literally, it's an incredible resource. Southern, we were able to bring our toddler down to play with other kids and see people's faces. Exactly. That's what community's for. That's what community's about. And we want to make sure that that resource is continued to be available for you in the future and as we go. And in other parts of New Hampshire as well. Right now, we have 3 active community centers in New Hampshire that cater to the libertarian communities. 1 here in Manchester and 2 on the seacoast. 1 in Rollinsford and I forget where the Praxium is off the top of my head. It's late. But the Praxium and the Shell out on the seacoast.
It's outside of the room.
Yeah, and what we want to do moving forward, once we do buy the building for the Quill, we have the income generating property as a nonprofit to then expand. Maybe one in Nashua. We've already had interest from people out in Claremont who would like to see somewhere out in Claremont where all the homeschoolers and people who work on the farms can get together in that area. We've already looked at a property up in the North Country in Berlin that's extremely affordable, an old church that's for sale that would make an incredible community center. And then there's been interest from people in Maine who want to expand our network up into Maine, where there's a libertarian community that doesn't have a place to meet and a place to call their own. And then there's been interest in Adam Kakesh's area out in Arizona. Maybe build a lodge out there, a community center for the people out at the Freedom Garden.
Because this is national. Right? This is not just a New England thing. Like, we're here in New England, it's easy for us to find other people in New England. But like, there is interest in California and Arizona at the very least right now. I imagine, and we're only working to find more and more people, right? So that's the thing. We want to go national. We don't want to just be in New England.
With Porkfest right around the corner. The biggest libertarian gathering of the year in all of North America. This is going to be
We're going to find people from all over the country and tell them to start a club.
So again, you guys, the link in the video, it's on that banner, gofundme.com/f/save the Quill. And like I said, we're up to around $136,000 already. So we have the momentum. We're going strong. We are meeting this coming week with a couple very large donors who want to really get involved and kickstart things well beyond our $600,000 goal. But every little bit helps, and the more we can get going into those meetings, the better our case looks at them helping us cross the finish line. So AJ, who else is around right now?
Steve, Derek, and Ken are around. Do you want to talk to them? I don't know if they've got anything to say. This was sort of sprung on us at the last minute that we were doing.
Well,
this.
Gail's got a point. Don't forget about Market Day this Saturday.
Market Day is this Saturday. Everyone is allowed to come. It's from 2 to 5. And again, the address is 131 Amory Street in West Manchester, New Hampshire.
Gail, I won't be able to make it to Market Day. I'm actually going to be up at Rogers already, helping set up for the lounge up there for Pork Fest. AJ is coming with.
And if anybody is at Pork Fest, if anyone is at Rogers or heading up a little early, Saturday night, Justin and I are going to the races at Riverside Speedway in Groveton, New Hampshire. Last year, during the initial shutdowns, they stayed open, and so now going to that speedway has, starting last year for me and going into this year and hopefully getting more people to come with me this year, is now a Pork Fest tradition for me. That's Grove. It's in Groveton, New Hampshire. It's like another 40 minutes north of Rogers.
Yeah. So, like I said, so AJ, what's going on downstairs tonight?
You want me to walk downstairs?
Sure. Let's show people what members. Let's show people what they can hope to enjoy if they become a member of the Quill.
All right. You guys are getting an exclusive look. Burn signs is the first thing we met with. And then it's a little dark because the lights aren't on, because I don't think anyone's down here. But the ground Paul signs on the way down. Let me turn the lights on. I promise it is not as dark down here as it looks on my camera. The camera doesn't pick it up very well. I can't actually see what's going on. The complicated lights in the game room. Okay, that's not doing it. Why are these? There we are. All right. So this was our game room at one point in time. We decided to move the game room upstairs. Now this is sort of a meeting space. For anyone who watched Karen Ann Harlow's video where she interviewed the existing Libertarian Party in New Hampshire, that was around this table right here. So that's why all these chairs are still here. We probably need to clean that up a little bit, but we do occasional, community poker games down there. Here's another.
And poker is legal in New Hampshire. Your home poker games are perfectly legal in New Hampshire, and that's one of the things that some of our members do host regularly at the Quill. If that's your speed, you like gambling, usually it's after New Movers Party, the first Tuesday of every month.
Mm-hmm. And then dartboard. We've got this little thing right here. As you can see, there's a hook on the wall that I can't. Let's see. I can maybe get like 1 in 40 or 50 tries, but you can burn an hour or two just on that.
But this is more of our adults lounge area. So AJ showed you the game room upstairs, which when we moved upstairs, it really transformed the environment to make it a family-friendly area. And then we still have a lounge upstairs.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll walk around a little bit more. This is sort of like a dance floor open area. Yeah.
All right. So why don't we go upstairs, grab Steve and Derek, and maybe they can tell a little bit about what makes the Quill an important place to them.
All right. Let's do that. All right. Derek, Steve, Ken, anybody want to get on the stream? Tell everybody what's important to them, to you, about the Quill.
The Quill is important.
Quill is important. Why is the Quill important, Steve?
We need a community space. We need this place. I don't know.
Derek, any words for viewers?
Quill is a great place. You meet a lot of great people here. People who are interested in liberty, that sort of thing. Great place to be.
Yeah. All right. Can you get any thoughts?
I do. I
Nothing
guess
quite like it.
other people have said it's a community center, but it's hard to really express what that means to the outside world. It's where you go to meet people. It's where you go to vent. It's basic. It's almost akin to having a family.
Yeah,
It's a really big part of the community here in Manchester, and in general in New Hampshire. Although it's more important for people in Manchester, but people come from all over.
Yeah.
Bardo comes down here once in a while. And that's really important because it's good for their business. And
Yeah.
they can meet more people. It's
So Bardo, what Ken's talking about is the market day that Justin and I mentioned before.
They do the market day, but they come around. Quill's a huge hub in the community. Now we got the shell at Portsmouth. That's better because we needed more hubs. Not saying more is better, and to a certain extent they had that team too. And it's unfortunate they lost that with their active center, because these community centers are just so important. And this work, I mean, it not only is it a club, it's also an apartment building. Porcupines live in the apartment building. I don't know how to express how unique and awesome that is.
Yeah.
No, to Ken's point there, the Quill really has become central to the community. Not only is every one of the apartments in the building rented by a libertarian and by a member of the community, but a lot of the local buildings too. Like you can, I've at Porkfest last year, somebody had walked up to me as I was driving away. He's like, "Hey, I think you live near me." And it was somebody I'd never met, never engaged with before. I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I see your car parked across the street from my house on Notre Dame all the time." And that was my first conversation with him. He was unaware of what the Quill was, but he was a libertarian. And he's someone who's since been to the Quill, enjoyed market days and new movers parties. But this is something like, again, the community itself is really centered around the fact that this community center provides an engaging place for them to be.
Yep.
So again, everybody who is watching this, GoFundMe.com/SaveTheQuill. We are pushing for this goal. We're going into Porkfest next week. My channel is going to be dark for about 2 weeks. We'll be up in the White Mountains. Twitter will be a pretty slow at all. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Helps us get this more exposure so more people can know about what we're doing and why this is important. And keep an eye out. We're going to be putting out some really, really well-produced testimonial videos from other club members soon about why the Quill is important to them, how great it's been for the past 10 years as a history, as not just like a historical gathering place, but a incubator for the liberty movement in New Hampshire, not just cultural, but even political. There's been many times the Quill has been used as a headquarters for campaign activities for people running for office, people running for alderman or state rep or state senate. They've run their campaigns out of the community center, using the resources of the community center and the resources of the community and the people. I think AJ is walking outside right now to show us the patio. It's a bit dark. It's 11:30 at night.
I got a flashlight with me. We'll see if this works out.
It's 11:30 at night. It's a bit dark.
Smoker here that we just put. I don't know how many pounds of meat do you think we went through on Saturday, grilling out back here.
Yeah, and Saturday was our last big community event. We had a big barbecue where we invited everybody in the Liberty community, not just the members of the club, but everyone in the community. And we had a huge turnout. AJ, how many people do you think actually showed up over the course of the day for us?
So throughout the day, probably like 70 or 80 people. I don't know that it was ever that many at any one time, but probably something like that.
We had the smoker running, cooking meat and serving meat from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. And people coming and going the whole time, engaging, enjoying the community. Kids out sidewalk chalking in the alley and on the bathroom. Gail wants to comment on the food. AJ was our grill master for most of the day. Gail's complimenting your food, AJ.
It was a good time. I like being at the grill.
But those are the kind of events we try and hold more. We're trying to do more regularly because, again, as a community center, it's not just about the members; it's about the community, and we want to grow membership organically by engaging with the community. We want to grow our network of community centers organically by expanding our community, and this is where, again, we do need your help. We do need everyone's help. That GoFundMe link. GoFundMe.com/F/Save the Quill, and you can help chip in. But I think we've covered a good deal of it. I think, AJ, you guys want to get back to enjoying your night at the Quill. We want to go back. We got to get ready for PorkFest this weekend. If anybody else has any questions, my links are in the coin tree on the YouTube. You can reach out to me on Twitter at O'Donnell4NH, and my DMs are always open. I'm more than happy to answer any questions anybody has or tell you more about it. Or again, if you want to learn more about the nonprofit that's handling the fundraising, you can go to emergentorder.io and learn about maybe their Quill token offering and how cryptocurrency is coming into play, and how, if you want to take advantage of a potential for a return on investment kind of an opportunity with the Quill, you can take advantage of the new Quill token system. So again, emergentorder.io or the GoFundMe.com/F/Save the Quill. All right. Other than that, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure anybody who's coming to PorkFest, you stop by, say hi, and let us all know what's up. And other than that, have a great night.